show. They've got representatives from the reserve teams, their academy team, the women's team, the wheelchair team, so everybody involved in today's event. And as we get our first look of Marshall's Mavericks, we'll see just what they've got on show. I expect a lot from Scott Morrell, his kicking game, his game management. QLT at the back, playing in the full-back spot. Quentin Lalu Tongagai, always a spark from the back, but that man pulls the strings. We're in for a crackerjack of a game, Ben.
Toronto home and away winners against Halifax last year. And they also kicked off the qualifiers with a 14-0 victory here. John Wilkin, outstanding last week at Batley. OKR, I should say, against Batley. And Jody, what are you expecting from this one? Obviously, Toronto swept all before them to lose a side this year. It's going to be a tough assignment for Halifax.
Yeah, it will be tough, but I think it's exciting for them. They've got nothing to lose, really. They're coming into this game knowing that they haven't yet beat the Toronto Wolfpack, and I think it's an exciting opportunity for them. They've got great home form this season, so hopefully it'll be a great game to watch.
Toronto hit Halifax for 40 points at the Scholars last April. They scored 7 tries in a 42-10 victory, so gives you some idea of what they're up against.
And that home form is really special for the Halifax side. It's around about 12 months since they've lost at home in the league to anybody. And who were the previous team to beat them? Well, it was the Toronto Wolfpack. So a score to settle, a standard to meet. And as Jody said, for Richard Marshall's side, they've nothing to lose. They can't afford to sit back and let this Toronto Wolfpack all-star team take the game by the scruff of the neck.
Liam Moore is the man in the middle for this one. It's Halifax prepared to get us underway. So Toronto with the first possession and a good collect from the kickoff from Josh McCrone, and Adam Sidlow takes the first carry. And look at the defensive attention first up. 3 in the tackle there for Halifax. They're pumped up for this one.
They've got to meet them in the middle of the park, Ben. Toronto Wolfpack, a really experienced pack of forwards, a really physical pack of forwards. Gadwin Springer, one who's in great form, an inspired off-season signing for the Wolfpack, but the Halifax side have got to step up in the middle.
Gadwin Springer, a lone spell here at Halifax while at Castleford last year. This is Sidlow again. Laroyer in the tackle. Simon Griggs as well.
An asset and a real strength to have Scott Griggs. Simon Griggs, should I say, back for the Halifax side.
On the last, the kick came from Wallace, fielded by Laulu Tongagai.
Although his brother Scott Griggs will be in the crowd. I've been here a few times to watch Halifax. He's here to support his local side.
Will Sharp got the pass away. This is Robinson now.
Move, Andy!
Dixon and McCrone among the tacklers.
Important to get a positive result from this first set, Halifax. Quite a basic set. Not too much risk, not too many passes. It's not going to go through too many hands, and if there is an offload...
Hold. Knock on.
Knock on.
Well, there you go. I did think that Shane Grady, who again is another one of those experienced players. Shane Grady, when he got that ball, I don't know whether he was thinking about offloading it, and it's just the presence of Andrew Dixon over the top, nothing illegal. And he'll be disappointed with that Richard Marshall. He'd have talked about the start of the game. During his previous 7 games, Halifax have struggled at the start, and it's something, when they've come out on the wrong side of the scoreline, they've looked back and really identified the start and said, we need to be better. Well, first set of 6, first time in possession, and they dropped it.
So a good opportunity for Toronto Wolfpack early on.
There's the local boy coming to the side later on, Nick Rawsthorne. Went to school just down the road at Brooksbank. He'll be keen and enthusiastic. He'll want to make a mark on this match.
Wilkin at the line. That's McCrone.
Still 2.
It's Grady who was all over him there.
You're off, Ben, you're off. Okay, now.
Strong run from Sidlow.
Hold. Go for.
Ackers. Short side play, goes himself, gets the ball away to McCrone. Further wide is Dixon. Was it forward pass?
Forward pass, Ben.
That's a let-off there, I think, for Halifax. You know, they had a lot of possession. They got upfield really quick there, and I think Halifax will take that as a win.
Forward, in my opinion.
And you can just see Macron, he wants to take it to the line. Sent to Steve Tyra. He makes that tackle, and it may well have been the timing of the run from Andrew Dixon that forced the hand of the half-back.
Hands over. Shot clock off.
So Toronto will hump the mistake now. Halifax being asked to carry the ball from deep in their own half here.
Surrender!
Ackers and Wilkin make the tackle on Steve Tyra.
2, move back up,
At the risk of repeating myself, I suspect the focus of this set will be get to the end, get a good kick in, a good chase off the end of it, but get into the grind and the arm wrestle of this game.
Josh, you're off.
Sean Robinson played the ball. Gavin Springer over the top. Alberson in there as well.
4, move on.
Meters after contact though from Ben Kavanagh.
Go 4.
Ben Kay now.
5, move all the way, Gadwin. Go 5.
Scott Morrell will take charge. As he does, puts the kick in, nudges it over the sideline. Well, if we take the first set of 6 that Halifax had in possession out of the way, they'll be happy with that. They'll have talked about that all week. You can see that Scott Morrell will take charge of what Halifax are doing in attack. Whether he's touching the ball or not, he's talking to everybody. He's making sure everybody knows exactly where they're supposed to be and what their roles and responsibilities are.
And it's smart play, that's what you want from your half-back. You want them to really control the game and settle it in that first 10 minutes. I think if Halifax can control this first 10, they'll really be in the game, because they have struggled with the first sort of 10 minutes and gone down sort of 18-0 in a few games this season. So it's important for them to make sure that they're controlled.
Really urgent play the ball from Matty Russell. Ackers. Russell for another carry in this sequence. It's Latelli. Scampering run from him.
He's been another good signing, Latelli. You see him getting in to do some work, but when he's in those crux positions and he's got decisions to make, his decision-making process is really good.
Wilkin for Dixon. Ackers. The kick over the top is from O'Brien. Lauda Tonga guy happy to let that drift over the dead ball line.
QLT will just allow it to go over that back line.
0.
Perfect composure shown. 7 tackles in this set. And a good opportunity for Halifax to get further down the field. And quite possibly put in an attacking kick this time.
Go to that left-hand side where Gadwin Springer waits. It's Robinson. Now Johnston.
He's got genuine pace, the number 7 there for Halifax, Ben Johnston. Plays more of a running role. Scott Morrell is the architect, the master tactician. And Ben Johnston is the runner.
Shane Grady played the ball. Here is Johnston. Goes at the line. There's a high tackle there.
He does that because of his pace, his run threat. I dare say he's right up there with everybody on the field for the pace that he's got, the agility, his footwork, and what he does, he just stretches the defence as he pumps that ball. Andy Ackers, outstretched arm, ends up right round the neck. And Halifax, with a little bit of field position, will probably choose to take the 2 on offer here. Not a bad start. What we on? Coming up for 7 minutes. They made 1 mistake in their first set of 6. Been okay defensively, and they've got the potential to be the first team to nudge the scoreboard.
I think getting on the scoreboard early, that's important for Halifax, getting them first 2 points off this kick. An easy one there for Tyra. Hopefully he can get that over, and then they start again. I think they're going to be happy with that start. Like you say, other than that first knock-on, it's been a good couple of sets for Halifax.
Steve Tyra with his 23rd goal of the season. Halifax ahead by 2 points to 0.
Andy Ackers, a good defender, knows that in front of those Halifax fans,
Okay, boys, time to run behind him, please.
Can't afford to give opportunities to Halifax.
Behind him.
Halifax in the top 4 in 3 of the previous 4 seasons.
Oh, what about that for a kick-off?
Bouncing everywhere.
It was high, all the Halifax players looking at each other, nobody's sure who was going to take it. Luckily, they got away with it.
Eventually, it was Ben Kavanagh who took control.
Move, hold here. Hold. Goal 2.
Alberson and Wallace quickly
Third.
in the face there of
Move,
Simon
Blake.
Griggs.
Hold. Goal third.
Nice feet from Leroy.
4.
They like the short sides, don't they? They're not going down the middle.
Springer in attendance again. 3 in the tackle for Toronto. This ball back.
Go
Last
5.
tackle. Morel.
Side.
O'Brien in exactly the right place.
What a big tackle on Gareth O'Brien.
Stand.
It's from the man that put the kick in, Scott Morel.
Morel's really setting the tone there, I think, for that chase. He's putting good quality kicks in, being smart with them, and then following it up and setting the tone for Halifax. I think they'll be happy with that.
Move back.
Nick Rawsthorne. Ackers, Wilkin. Was onto Sidlow, now it's Springer. Just flicks the ball out for Dixon.
What a shame. Wonderful hands there, real short passes. It's Gadwin Springer who ends up with it. Probably third man out. There we go. Short tip-on passes, as they're termed in the trade. And Gadwin Springer, he just places it in the path of Andrew Dixon, and at that point, everybody's probably just rocked back on the heels a little bit. He's playing some good stuff this year, Gadwin Springer. Showed a lot of promise in his Catalan Dragons days. Probably stagnated at Casford Tigers, and he needed the move, and looks a better player for it.
Laroyette.
Hold, Gadwin, hold!
Alberson and Sidlow. Defensive duty. Turned back by Kay. Here is Simon Griggs. Really good run from Simon Griggs.
Big, strong run from the back rower.
Hold.
Noise levels lift around the shade. Kay, Ben Kay. That's Grady.
It was a late hit.
Walk away, Adam.
It's a late hit. But they do know, and they'll have done some work, Toronto, that on those shifts, Halifax are so expressive when they get the ball. You see, takes it to the line. It's Ben Kay, brave Ben Kay, playing at number 9. Normally around about the acting half position, but on that occasion he's out at first receiver, takes it to the line, and the big fella Adam Sidlow, well, he gets there as quick as he can, but in the referee's mind it's too late.
Sometimes you don't mind that, I think, though, as you want to put pressure on the halfbacks and the 9 to make sure that they know you're there and they know that they've not got long on the ball. You get in the faces and get them hit, even if you give away a couple of penalties early on. I think that's something as a team you're really pushing up and making sure you're there and they know it.
Steve Tyra looking for his second penalty of the afternoon. Straight between the posts. Halifax double their lead. Richard Marshall's men now ahead by 4 points to 0.
Yeah, as we come up to 12 minutes on the clock, Ben, we talked about that start and how important it was for this Fax side to not get blown away, not concede points early doors, and when they've had the opportunity, they've taken the 2 on offer and the 4 in front on the scoreboard. Good start.
Gone 10. Play on.
Collected by Tyra.
Surrender!
Better on that occasion from the kickoff.
Go 1.
Just simple stuff now.
2.
Get to the 6, get to the 5th tackle,
Goal 2.
put the kick in. We've seen a couple of times, haven't we? That's where Scott Morel will take charge. Toronto, as this game unfolds and gets a bit older, they might start putting more pressure, and that's where he comes into his own. He draws players in, and he's smart enough to draw things and take advantage.
Ben Johnston.
5. Move, Andrew.
This one coming up for Halifax.
Goal 5.
on halfway, and it's the kick from Johnston. O'Brien stationed accurately again.
Big defence again. They all know what's coming, and they're not. Oh, that's a wonderful just pick up and run from Nick Rawsthorne. Valuable meters, and then off the back of that, it's Jack Logan who jumps out. He knows that the markers aren't set. There you see the offender, Jacob Fairbank, a member of the Fairbank clan in Halifax, infamous tough as teak, hard as nails family, and he's the latest member.
Played Super League Fairbank with Huddersfield, with Bradford, London and Wakefield. Into a pedigree, as you say, Barry. Here is Olberson. No way through though. Griggs, Fairbank.
Hold. Goal 2, good.
Wilkin. That was McCrone. Now O'Brien.
That pass looked like it was on then.
Yeah, I think he hesitated there. He wasn't quite sure, was he?
Offside, Ben. Come on. That's twice.
McCrone.
You've already conceded a penalty.
Crossfield run. Now Wallace had support. Elected to take the tackle himself from La Royere.
Move. Goal line. Get here. Hold.
Simon Griggs in there as well. Ackers. That's Wilkin. It was McCrone over the top from O'Brien, and Rawsthorne looking for something against his old club. Rawsthorne still going. Oh, that's a brilliant tackle.
Sensational tackle there.
Shane Grady just came over the top there. Managed to force his man out to the field of play.
Well, lovely work from Nick Rawsthorne. He gets the ball over on the edge. Has plenty of work to do. Dancing feet. He evades the first tackle, but that's great signs for the Fact side. 3 defenders pushing across.
Hold. Stand up. Goal 0.
Saltonstall played the ball. Here is Will Sharp.
Move all the way, Adam. Hold. Goal 1.
Springer's tackle.
2. Move, Andrew. Back. Goal 2.
Solid progress from Halifax here.
Move, Adam. Back, John. Hold.
Ben Kavanagh.
Goal 3rd.
Ben Kay now. All back on the inside.
4. Move, Adam. Here we go, John, with me.
Now Lutonga guy under the tackle.
Goal 4.
Ben Kay again. Still going.
Release, fine.
Sidlow and Springer in attendance, and the ball comes free.
Well, he's got to be happy with that. And as this game's developing now, you can see the intelligence of Halifax. The game plan, as we get 15 minutes on the clock, the previous play, it was a short pass, and that player that passed back on the inside to a much quicker player, I think it was Morel, who passed back on the inside to QLT, who got dealt with. Don't make no mistake about that, the defenders were up to it, but then effort on effort with a little bit of fatigue. As we come up to the end of the first quarter, a little bit of fatigue will be on show. But they're targeting those big units now, Springer, Sidlow.
I think they're really trying to turn them as well. You can see tactically Halifax are finishing it on edge so that they can then put a good kick in and make sure that it's returned back, and there's not a lot of options for Toronto when they're returning that ball, so they can get up and pin them. So tactically I think they're doing everything right, Halifax.
Doing everything right on the scoreboard as well. 3rd penalty from Steve Tyra. Early problems for Brian Noble and Brian McDermott, the Toronto coaching team. His men lead by 6 points to 0. The Halifax coach, Richard Marshall.
Real cool operator. Richard Marshall spoke to him before the game. He said, my players are looking forward to it. Nobody expects us to win. We're the underdogs. We like it that way, and we'll give it a good shake. So far, he's absolutely right. 6-0 they're leading. They'll need to post some points, and they'll need to score some tries, because you know that Toronto have got tries in them, and they can put 2 or 3 in the blink of an eye.
Goal 2.
Richard Marshall in the Huddersfield-Sheffield side, beaten by Brian McDermott. Bradford on the way to Challenge Cup glory.
Nice offload.
Back in 2000.
Ben Kavanagh gets that ball away. An extra 10 metres earned. Look at this late offload to the hooker.
Ben Kay on the back of that. Will Sharp is away. Will Sharp is quick. He's looking for support back on his inside. It's a really important tackle from Ricky Latelli, but quick play the ball. It's Morell's kick, and it's taken brilliantly by Rawsthorne.
A nice phase for Halifax. A line break from Will Sharp. They've got a lot of pace and power in those back five players for Halifax. Ashton Sims on now. He's always going to offload that ball, flop it out the back.
And the ball given some real air by John Wilkin, and Matty Russell now. Ricky Latelli.
And here we go. Sharp tackled around the head. It's Tom Alderson grasping, and then there might even be a high shot off the back of that.
Go 5.
It was O'Brien with that second hit. Somebody lucky to get away with that on the last tackle. Taken brilliantly by Quentin Laulu Tongagai.
A brave take as well from QLT. He'd have been entitled to let that ball bounce and bounce out of touch, but he wants to keep the game and the pace of the game nice and quick.
I think that shows the back three are playing with confidence as well. They go for them balls, anything that's 50-50, they want to take it and build confidence into this game, and why not? 6-0 up is not what they would have thought 18 minutes into the game, so doing really well, their back three.
And we saw last time they made a mistake, it was Shane Grady on a couple of minutes into the game. Sean Robinson, a short, stocky winger, very powerful. He's a little bit like Matty Russell for me. Always going to beat that first defender, always going to break tackles. And he's come up with an error and put his side under pressure.
Trails Russell by 3 in the scoring charts currently. Here's Latelli.
Move, start! Oh, play it.
Big examination of the Halifax defence coming up.
Play on the mat, mate.
That was Wallace. Sims just says, get out the way.
Move back!
Jacob Fairbank on the floor. Andy Ackers, Wilkin, Wallace. Brilliant tackle from Steve Tyra, though. Shot out the line and shut down the danger on O'Brien.
He's asking for a knock-on as well. He recognised it when turned round, and he's there to make that tackle as well.
Andy Ackers so close.
Get the rope.
And as Halifax held on, they conceded the penalty.
Ben Kay it is. But a wonderful recognition there from Steve Tyra.
Goal line!
And you can see, can't you, they really come alive, Toronto. The pace and the speed that they execute just kicks up a notch.
1. Move!
That was Wallace into Alberson.
Go 1.
Ackers. Ashton Sims trying to use his strength.
2. Move, Quentin! Line! Go 2.
Andy Ackers again, and Wilkin. There's a hole for John Wilkin, and he's through that hole. And John Wilkin doubles his try tally for 2019. And Toronto Wolfpack are on the board with 20 minutes on the clock.
Well, it's taken 20 minutes for the line to be broken of Halifax. And when it was broken, it was a stroll through. All came off the back of that lack of discipline. In the ruck, on the floor, the hooker Ben Kay. It's one of a couple of players that don't want to allow Toronto to play that ball quickly. Andy Ackers turns round, looks at his teammates and says, what's on? Well, they had lots of action, probably 10 or 15 metres away from the play of the ball. So the defensive line of Halifax is stretched. And he's renowned, John Wilkin, for those passes, those short passes, long passes. But he's a distributor. And what he did is he's just dropped his shoulder, pinned his ears back, ran and got the first try of the game for Toronto Wolfpack.
Wilkin outstanding last week on familiar soil in his former club, Hulkingston Rovers, and now Gareth O'Brien with the chance to improve the try from Wilkin. Straightforward kick, 2 points the result, 6 apiece, 22 gone here. McDermott will be happier now. He's seen his side concede 3 penalties in that first quarter. Now parity achieved.
Which way are you going, Steve?
1 or 2 signs clicking in possession as well.
Time off. Behind him, boys!
I think on that left edge as well from Halifax, he did really well getting up and getting in the face of Gareth O'Brien for that ball coming out the back. Oh, and there's an error. Always got away with that one.
Rawsthorne, the man who profits in possession. Almost pinched by Grady.
A real shame for Halifax there. They've got to be careful not to undo all that good work. Dan Fleming, fresh onto the field. There you see Shane Grady.
Halifax will feel hard done to there, I think. With you know, they didn't deal with that kick-off very well, and then to give a penalty away off the back of it, it's not great for Halifax, but hopefully they can defend now and keep Toronto as far away from that line as possible, because they've shown how dangerous they can be.
The Wolfpack looking for back-to-back tries. Strong run from Darcy Lussick. The ball's found McCrone. It's a really good kick from McCrone. Latelli's chasing this, and Will Sharp just gets there in the nick of time to deny him.
Well, that was pure magic from Toronto. 2 or 3 really, really sharp, short passes, and then the intelligence to dink the kick into that in-goal. They are short in-goals here at the Shea, so it doesn't get as much time as he would like the Toronto player to try and get the try, but signs now are balls being made available, offloads, quick play, and Darcy Lussick, who's just about to take this ball forward, as he's done a number of times this year, comes onto the field and increases the tempo of the match.
Wilkin for Sims.
Movement! Hold Jacob, hold. Goal to.
Ackers scanning. Wilkin at the line again. Danger here, Dixon is away. Dixon is clear, and Dixon is over the line, under the posts. Toronto have the lead for the first time. Andrew Dixon with his second try of the campaign.
Well, 2 tries in 2 or 3 minutes there for Toronto. Coming off the back of intense pressure with the ball. Quick play of the balls, quick ruck speed. And Toronto facing a fractured defensive line in the Halifax ranks. Wonderfully constructed there. When he approaches the player, and again, John Wilkin right at the heart of it, what he manages to do, Josh McCrone, is come back, pull the defender into the channel where he is, and creates a bit of space for the back rower.
So tries in successive games for Andrew Dixon, just like John Wilkin. Both try scorers also on the mark against Batley last weekend. Gareth O'Brien for 2 more points. No problem from the boot of Gareth O'Brien. Toronto now ahead by 12 points to 6.
You can see how dangerous Toronto can be when they get up in Halifax's half and anywhere near the line. They are really, really dangerous, and it's them short passes that are really getting some success for Toronto. Like you see there, Dixon coming on a really short lead line, then off Wilkin. Wilkin obviously scoring the first and then setting up the second. I think Halifax just need to deal with the ball in hand rather than thinking about the outside pass, and make sure they're hitting them forwards.
One!
The impressive Darcy Lussick with the carry into Dan Fleming. Fleming swapped Toronto for Halifax last year. He will be looking forward to this one, tangling with old teammates, the Welsh international. Now Russell.
Third, move down, back.
Fleming with the tackle.
Go third.
Ackers, Wilkin, Lussick. Then Kay in there alongside Grady for Halifax.
Cries of a forward pass from John Wilkin though. There he is again, Wilkin.
The recipient this time gets a brilliant ball away, and Wallace scoots to the line. They've hit Halifax with a trio of tries in a few minutes here. Toronto Wolfpack. Real skill, real class, up speed from Brian McDermott's men. And they're beginning to take control of this game.
They've lifted the tempo of the game because they're running a little bit harder through players like Darcy Lussick and Ashton Sims. They're finding the front, they're playing the ball quicker. And John Wilkin finds himself in open space. I think it's Andy Ackers who pops out. He goes right back behind the play of the ball. John Wilkin assesses the situation really well. There's Andy Ackers, draws in Fairbank, creates the space, and there's only the slightest of gap for Wilkin to thread that needle and make that pass, and he does it. Great skill on show from all players in the Toronto Wolfpack shirts.
Tries in 5 of the last 6 for Blake Wallace. It was that man Wilkin who created it. Quick thinking from Ackers as well. 3 tries in 7 minutes for Toronto Wolfpack. O'Brien adds the extras. 18 points to 6. And the two O'Briens, McDermott and Noel, will be happier now. They trailed 6 points to 0, remember. They've turned that right around.
Fantastic play again by Toronto. You see, they've not panicked. When they went 6-0 down with them penalties, they've not panicked. The forwards are really taking them up the field, and we can see they've got good hands. Wilkin there, again, good break, feeds it to Wallace, and a great try under the sticks for Toronto.
Get possession back from the kickoff as well.
One, move
Well, Halifax's focus on this set will be defend. Try and just slow that momentum down. Try and collect the ball and then work the way back into the game. When Toronto are passing the ball and using the width of the field, as they are on that occasion, it's dangerous. Danger signs for the opposition.
Go third.
Alberson played the ball. Now Lussick.
4, move back 7. Hold, go 4.
Pass from Ackers. Finds Ashton Sims.
5, move, old Brandon. Go 5.
Last one.
John Wilkin.
Wallace with the kick.
Play on now.
Good one as
Kick
well.
it through.
Turns Will Sharp around. Look at the chase. Led by
Kick it
Wilkin
through.
and Wallace.
Good energy from Toronto.
Move. Hold, Andy. Hold.
Everybody knows their
Go
role.
on.
They're working hard.
2,
Saltonstall,
move, hold,
the
Andrew.
latest
Hold.
play to try and get
Go 2.
and wrestle
Okay.
some momentum back.
5th season at Halifax. James
Third.
Saltonstall ever
Move
present
top.
in
Back up,
2015.
Andy. Hold. Go third.
Robinson.
4, move.
Just
Go
see
4.
at the dummy half, at the acting half there, Brandon Moore. He's a real sharp
5,
player,
move,
strong,
Andy.
nuggety type.
Hold. Go 5.
But when he gets a quick ruck and a quick play of the ball,
Outside.
we'll see him come into his own. A typical end to the set from Halifax. That's how they want to play the game. Keep the tempo slow, walk to the scrum. And if they're allowed to do that, Scott Morrell will be at the forefront of that action.
Halifax will be happy with that set. I think they went back to basics. It was just get the backs in, get us out from dummy half, and a really simple set, ending smart again with Morrell taking control. That's what they did to start the game, and they need to just carry on with that if they're going to get themselves back in it.
Okay, shot clock off. Out.
Wallace fed the scrum. Here is Russell. Live wire, typically from him.
You could hear Halifax on red alert then as soon as they saw him lining up outside that scrum. Big shout of Russell. What they're trying to do is get up quick on him. Here he is again, second effort. So difficult to handle, Matty Russell.
I remember seeing Matty Russell play in the 2013 World Cup for Scotland, and he was a breath of fresh air. The speed, the agility, and I think for any defensive line, it is not what you want to see running at you.
I have it on good advice that you were a better try scorer than him back in the early days.
Back in the early days, yeah, maybe, yeah. Not so much as I'm getting older, not so many tries, but when I was younger, maybe.
Cheers, boys.
On the last, Wilkin with the kick. Tester for Will Sharp, who does really well and launches a counter as well. If he gets away here, there could be problems for Toronto.
Oh, the ball has been stolen, but a very confident take from Will Sharp there. And it's only the lunging arm of the replacement forward, Ashton Sims, that prevents him from breaking that line. And then John Wilkin tries to steal that ball back, trying to outsmart Will Sharp and out-muscle him. But the referee not happy. He blows his whistle, Liam Moore, and gives a bit more possession and easy field position to Halifax.
Will Sharp Began his career at Harlequins under Brian McDermott.
Go on.
Reunited this afternoon.
Still one.
Good offload.
2.
Finds Griggs.
Move back.
Good attacking in defence there from Lussick. Here we go, Brandon Moore. We'll see him come more into the game.
Tyra, but the pass away has gone backwards. 0 tackle call though, as Laulu Tongagai takes it up.
0. Move.
Great opportunity coming up for Halifax. 7.5 to the break. Desperate to get themselves back into this contest.
1. Move back up, John. Go on.
There's Nick Rawstorn's hand in.
Okay.
There's Griggs at the line. Quentin Laulu Tongagai with some space. Elects to go wide. Russell is there. Latelli is there.
Beautiful set-up play from Scott Morrell again.
To the left-hand side this time, but it's Shane Brady.
Simon Griggs takes the ball to the line, and Darcy Lussick, he can't resist it.
Ball's gone.
Referee blows his whistle. He'll come all the way back. Round about midfield. Halifax will get another look at the line.
Great position for Halifax here. This is where they want to be. Get close to Toronto's line and show them what they've got. They've not had a lot of opportunity up close to the line.
Tackles in the bank as well. Morrell is put to ground. Defensive test for the Wolfpack here. There's Griggs. Johnston. No way through Wilkins' tackle. Brandon Moore. Morrell. QLT.
A little bit of indecision here from Halifax. Can they get it back?
Goes one way, comes back the other.
Who's organising? You can see Morrell at the top of your screen.
Go for.
Moore's pass comes to Morrell. That was Johnston with the kick. Collected by McCrone, and he's done really well to get the ball away as well. It's Logan.
1.
Well, terrific counter-attack.
Go on.
Jack Logan gollops up 40 metres upfield. A weak kick at the end of that set of 6 from Ben Johnson.
Rawstorn on the back of that has got Toronto in a great position here. Wallace. Latelli. Sharp clings on. Morrell over the top.
Hold. Go third.
Wallace. Wilkin. Ashton Sims.
4. Move, Brandon. Back here, Simon. Back. Go far. 4.
Wilkin again. Wallace does well to collect.
5.
Morrell was in his face immediately there. And O'Brien. Great pass from O'Brien. What a finish in the corner from Matty Russell on the last tackle. Toronto strike. And Matty Russell with his 8th try of the season.
And that's the 4th try in 15 minutes for Toronto. In that first quarter, Halifax played the game at their pace, looked to be in control and dictating. It was a wonderful break early on in the set. While they were under pressure, Jack Logan ends up with the ball from an offload. Shows his patience. Has a little bit of a jostle and a competition over on that right side for Toronto. But from that possession, smart plays. John Wilkin right at the heart of it again. But look at that for a ball. Josh McCone right on the button to the winger, who's not going to be stopped. Matty Russell that close.
He can't tuck his shoulders on there.
He got a try in the 14-0 win here, which kicked off last year's qualifiers. Matty Russell strikes again in Halifax in 2019. Following on from a double against Batley last week. A tough conversion attempt for Gareth O'Brien, though.
Time off. Back on.
From the sideline then, Gareth O'Brien wide of the target, but Toronto out now to a 22 points to 6 lead.
Great full-back play by O'Brien on this. You see fantastic miss pass there to Russell on the edge, which isn't good. He's not going to be stopped, not when he's got that much room to dive in on the edge. Brilliant winger try, and I think Gareth O'Brien played a lot of his early years in the halfbacks, and you see that from that great play out the back and great vision to find the winger for a good try. Like you say, Toronto now 4 tries in just over 15 minutes is a brilliant set of possession for them.
And Brian McDermott will talk to his side and say, apart from those 3 penalties that resulted in 2 points, our line hasn't been broken. That might well be the focus for the Wolfpack in the second half.
Third.
Can Toronto add to their try tally before half-time? 2.5 minutes or so to go as Ackers puts the ball away to McCrone.
Surrender! Stand!
Tyra and Robinson bring him to ground. Wilkin. That was Wallace. O'Brien back on the inside for Latelli.
Got so many players that can pass the ball with confidence. They've got a half-back at full-back in Gareth O'Brien, and John Wilkin, he does, I mean, he wears 13, he plays a 13 role, he plays a loose forwards role, but he can also get in there like an old-fashioned 13 at first receiver or second receiver. And then you just see the game management of Toronto nudge the ball over the sideline. Had a huge impact on the first 40 minutes, John Wilkin.
Come on then, boys, let's get down.
Blake Wallace with that kick. Pens Halifax deep in their own half, and Will Sharp, the man to try and carry them forward here. Halifax try before the break would change the complexion for Richard Marshall at the interval.
Go to. Stand up and play, Steve.
Back on the inside.
Third. Move.
And you feel like Halifax need to get over the line. I'm not sure they will, but if they did get over the line, it would do wonders for the confidence. Give them a little bit of self-belief. They've thrown everything at Toronto. That's better.
Nice run from Johnston. Brady stays the right side of that sideline. Pressure on the kick though, and it's a good one under that pressure. Gareth O'Brien though catches on the full. Releases Matty Russell again.
Move.
Like a human pinball. Propelling himself into defenders.
And that Halifax defence has forced the mistake. Have they got time to put points on the board as a result of it?
They've got time, Ben. Have they got the imagination?
Robinson.
Move Aston.
Brandon Moore waits. Penalty, Halifax.
No, stand down.
I think tactics from Halifax here need to maybe change slightly. At the start of the game, it was about keep possession completely set. They need to look a bit more inventive now. We've seen from Toronto, they've got so many players that can pass that ball about and make tries out of nothing. And Halifax need to start going up. They're very much one-up rugby at the minute, and I think they need to start getting a bit more confidence to throw the ball about.
Last chance for Halifax then, right at the end of this first half, and they've knocked the ball on with the line begging. Sean Robinson with a gilt-edged chance to double Halifax's score there.
Oh, what a shame. A catch and pass from Tyra, and he had it. He had hold of it.
That could be a real confidence knocker, that, I think, when you know the line's begging and your team really needs a try.
Right at the end of that first half then, there could have been something for these Halifax fans to cheer about, but Sean Robinson couldn't take the chance offered to him. They were ahead by 6 points to 0 on 16 minutes thanks to a trio of Tyra penalties, but Toronto have roared back in this second quarter. They've scored 4 tries through Wilkin, Andrew Dixon, Blake Wallace and Matty Russell, and so Brian McDermott's men are in control at the break. At half-time at the Shea, it's Halifax 6, Toronto 22.
That was an absolute wicked kick, that.
Imagine if, rather than losing all your unused mobile data after each month, you could keep it. Well, unlike anyone else, with Sky Mobile you can roll and keep all your unused data for up to 3 years. So you can dip in and top up your data when you really need it. Or even use it to save money on your monthly bill. Roll it, keep it, use it. Sky Mobile. Hello, possible.
Good girl, Phoebe. Nice and calm today. Karen, I've got a cat with no pulse here. I need adrenaline and an IV line. Quick as you can, please.
See you tomorrow.
Discover clean hard floors with the Karcher FC5 Hard Floor Cleaner. Using smart roller technology, the FC5 washes and vacuums to leave floors clean and dry. Available now at selected retailers and karcher.co.uk.
Millions are missing out by having a current account that doesn't pay them any interest on their hard-earned money. TSB offers interest to all their Plus account customers for no monthly fee. So if you're one of the millions missing out, talk to TSB.
Alexa, dim the lights.
Okay.
Alexa, drop in on Charlie.
Run your home like a pro with Curry's PC World.
Save up to £70 on these large 9-kilo Hoover washers and dryers. These washers are just $249 with free delivery. Save 30 off Hoover built-in appliances over £300. This 8-kilo washer is $319 after code. Save up to £300 on these stunning Samsung QLED TVs with lifelike colours and stylish design that blends in with your home. From just $799, our lowest ever price at Curry's PC World.
It's the quiz of the show of the book that everyone's been waiting for.
Whether you know your Greyjoys from your Killjoys.
I love Game of Thrones, but I can't remember names or places.
There'll be tears, torture.
Oh, this is really hard, this one.
And triumphs. It's time to sort the maesters from the wasters. Thronecast, Game Show of Thrones, Friday at 10 on Sky One.
They passed it wide, he's still going. No, he's lost the ball.
Toronto's next assignment, a really tasty-looking fixture. The teams currently second and third in the Betfred Championship go head-to-head. Toronto against Sheffield, Saturday, April the 6th. Check your local listings for that one. Score at half-time at the Shea, and it's Toronto are in control at the break. Halifax led through 3 early penalties from Tyra, but 4 tries in that second quarter have put Brian McDermott's men in control at the interval. Let's have a look at the first half in more detail now, the best moments of it. Barry and Jody alongside me.
Well, it has. It's been a tale of 2 quarters. Halifax early on really taking it to the Toronto side, and Andy Akers late challenge, high challenge, gives Steve Tyra the first look at the goalpost, 2 points, and then a late challenge from Sidlow, 4-0 at that junction. Wonderful defence here. It looked like Nick Rawstorm was going to go in the corner, but 3 committed defenders in the blue and white shirts saved the day. Springer with his arm in on Ben Kay. Another 2 points, so that was 6-0, and Halifax looks confident. Then, on 20 minutes, the fitter side, the full-time side, the side that looked a little bit more control through Andy Akers' penalty, and from this field position, a wide-open space just presents itself to the ever-experienced John Wilkin. He gets over for Toronto's first try. The second try comes quite quickly after that, 2 or 3 minutes after that, and it really started to look like Toronto were getting a grip, getting a hold of this game. penalty. And then a look at the line. Nice hands, short passes. Andrew Dixon goes over for the second try.
We see further dominance here from Toronto. Wilkin involved again. Oh, they hit this one. Yeah, they hit Dixon's try again. Wilkin's involvement, and again, just brilliant play there, using the forwards, that lead line, great footwork under the post. Yep. Brilliant break there by Wilkin. Support play there from Wallace. Too quick, under the sticks. Wilkin's just involved in everything that's happening for Toronto at the minute, and I think jumping out at hooker there, tying in the markers. Toronto just starting to run riot at this point. There we see again, just hitting in right behind the rope, behind the A defence. Wallace in under the sticks to give easy conversion there for Gaz O'Brien. That's it, brilliant, brilliant stop there. And that's where we see the start of the Logan break. Great footwork, keeps his composure, doesn't panic. And that's where then off the back of that, they get downfield. Brilliant pass from Gaz O'Brien to put Russell in the corner. Great vision there, right on the money, exactly where he needed to be. Didn't need to change his stride. Russell straight on top, and he's always going to finish it from there. Here now we're seeing Halifax. This is the chance to get close to the line, and just unfortunate there. Couldn't keep hold of that ball on the edge. Halifax will be disappointed there. That was their best chance yet of a try from Robinson, and just unfortunate really.
And if we take a look at the numbers for that first half, pretty even all the way through, exactly the same completion rate, 82%. Tackles made around about the same, but if you look at the bottom there, Halifax have given penalties away, and that has cost them. And probably the difference between the two sides is when Toronto have had the ball, they've made those chances and opportunities pay, and that's the reason we've got that scoreline of 22 points to 6.
Sean Robinson thinking about what might have been at the end of that first half. And the banners commemorate the famous Challenge Cup win of 1987. Halifax finest hour. Chris Anderson, the coach, went on to coach the Kangaroos, of course. Still remembered fondly in these parts. That Halifax crowd, though, they know they've got a tough assignment against the Toronto Wolfpack, the favourites for this competition. Chances like that one for Sean Robinson just before the interval, they need to take them. They did lead, remember, early on through those penalties, but it seems a long time ago now. 4-0 for Toronto in that first period. Put Brian McDermott's men in control and on course for the top of the table again. Wilkins, Dixon, Wallace and Russell, the try scorers for Toronto Wolfpack. And they're in control at the break. Back to the second half next at half-time. It's Halifax 6, Toronto 22.
That was an absolute wicked kick, that.
When I was in the jungle, the thought of one thing kept me going. Jam roly-polies. I love them so much, I've even started my own business. These days, you've got to be online. So I went to GoDaddy, registered a name, built a website. Dead easy. Even had 24/7 support on the blower. It's gone so well, I've had to up my baking game to keep up with the demand. Luckily, I'm a real pro. Terrific. For all the help and tools you need to succeed online, GoDaddy.
Wish Mum well this Mother's Day with Fitbit.
Jet2.com, we're proud to be awarded the best UK airline on TripAdvisor. And what we love most is taking you to your sun and city favourites. You can now fly to 62 great destinations from 9 UK airports, including Mallorca, Lanzarote and Prague, all from only £49. Book now with the winner of Which Travel Brand of the Year. Jet2.com, friendly low fares.
We thought we'd
Introducing the 120th Anniversary Special Edition, now with 0% APR.
Oh, fantastic!
Nothing quite compares to
fantastic!
We have another cop in our family. We now have another reason to stop our hearts when we hear officer down.
Hot blood love is gonna get
Your house went up like a stack of kindling. My only regret, that your family wasn't in it at the time.
You almost got us all killed! The facts don't add up.
We'll do it the hard way.
Get on the ground with your hands in the air!
Welcome to the family.
Brand new Blue Bloods, Monday at 9 on its new home, Sky Witness.
And passed it wide, he's still going. No, he's lost the ball.
Toronto's next assignment is against the Sheffield Eagles. That's a match played at London Scholars Ground. It's Saturday, April the 6th in the Betfred Championship. That's live with us. Check your local listings for that one. At half-time at Halifax, Shea. It's the Wolfpack who are in control. Halifax led early through 3 penalties from Tyra, put 4 tries in that second quarter and put the Wolfpack right in control as they look to go back on top of the pile. Wilkin, Dixon, Wallace and Russell, the try scorers. O'Brien with 3 goals. The Halifax fans here at the Shea, they knew their team were in a battle with the competition favourites before this one. Been encouraged with that first quarter, but the second quarter that followed with the 4 Toronto tries have given their side, Marshall's team, a massive mountain to climb in this second period.
And we've seen that, haven't we? Every time we've watched Toronto, particularly when they've come up against part-time sides, they've hung in with the part-time sides when they've thrown everything at them and then hit back, as we saw in that first half. 15 minutes, 4 tries, and let's hope it hasn't knocked the wind out of the sails of Halifax, who went toe-to-toe with them, tried to play a little bit of set for set under the marshalship of that man, Scott Morrell, and they might just need to throw it about a bit now. Nothing to lose. Scoreboard is what it is. We need to start getting it to tick over now, and penalties won't be enough against the Toronto Wolfpack. Some offloads, some expansive play, and try and match the tempo of Toronto.
Nick Rosethorne called in late to this Toronto 17. He'll be enjoying that first half, and John Wilkin at the heart of most of Toronto's good work in that opening 40. Halifax have already beaten Swinton, Batley and Lee on this ground this year. So some confidence there on home soil as Lee Moore comes out for this second period.
The last home match they played was against Dewsbury, and it was 26-0. Talking to Richard Marshall, said he was so pleased, and it's a fortress for his side here. They enjoy playing, they enjoy the atmosphere, and they try to entertain the fans.
O'Brien gets this second half underway. Collected by Johnston.
1, move, ball, go on.
It was Fleming who played the ball. Jack Logan.
2,
with defence here alongside McCrone. Johnston in that hooking role. Here is Fleming again.
Help! Release, 3. Go 3.
That was Moore.
4.
There's a
Griggs
player.
can't get the offload away.
There's a player in Griggs that can make things happen. Smart rugby player, good offloader of the ball, and got a good pre-line as well. That's what they do in Halifax now.
Good offload from Laulu Tonga guy, but it's desperate work to keep that ball alive.
Well, the referee, Liam Moore, seen an offload. It appeared to go backwards. Scott Morrill's shaking his head. He knows whether it went forward or backwards. It's all a little bit too messy. He's at the sideline. And that's the reason Tyra throws it back. And Sean Robinson then messy, scruffy.
Hands over. Head's going to get your head down, Steve. Okay,
Time for Halifax to defend.
Yeah, first chance for the Wolfpack to show what they've got in attack this second half. Untidy play the ball, penalty conceded by Johnston.
They can't lose the discipline. What they can't do is give Toronto an overwhelming possession count. If they've got equal possession and have a little bit more decent field position, they'll give themselves a chance. But if Toronto have all the ball, with the absolute Formula One race cars that they've got in those black and white shirts, that scoreboard will keep ticking, but it'll be in the favour of the Wolfpack.
Motoring here, Toronto. Wilkin, that's McCrone, Dixon. O'Brien's the extra man, but what a good tackle that was from Robinson.
Sean Robinson shuts that player down.
McCrone again. Lussick. Still plenty of tackles left for Halifax to withstand.
There you see good recognition, hits Gareth O'Brien.
Ackers. Another shot put on there. It comes back for Wilkin though. Wallace, short ball, Olberson. Morell in there.
Move, goal line.
Brandon Moore as well.
Goal 5.
Ackers. Wilkin. That was McCrone, O'Brien. Ominous here. Wide from Logan. Rawsthorne looking for something against his old club. Nick Rawsthorne just a metre short. Turnover.
Oh, just look at how many black and white shirts were in the frame, trying to deny the ex-player, Nick Rawsthorne. Nice expansive play. On that occasion, nobody was going in. They hung back, stayed patient, and defensively, the players from the inside helped those players who were exposed on the edges.
Yeah, I think Halifax's left edge there defended really well. They shot out and hit O'Brien on the first goal that side, and then next time paddled back and defended the play really well. I think that's going to give them a bit of confidence now if they can just get upfield, get a bit of possession, hopefully finish, complete the set on a kick, then they'll get that confidence back.
4, movement! All this 10, go 4.
Just looking to get away from their own line as Griggs gets the ball away.
Move Aston! Back here, Andy. Go
Fleming
5.
plays it. There's more.
40.
They do get the kick away.
That's a huge kick as well. Finds the grass and Matty Russell collects it on the bounce for Halifax. And Richard Marshall is still breaking tackles, Matty Russell. For Halifax, I think Richard Marshall's been really cute with his replacements, hasn't brought onto the field Elliot Morris and Ed Barber, as far as I can tell. Ed Barber's a really quick player, can play in the backs or the forwards, and knows the way to the try line.
I think Ed Barber got a hat-trick against Dewsbury, so adding into the field with a bit of creativity and a bit of will to get to that try line is something Halifax might need right about now.
4, move!
Fourth season with Halifax, Ed Barber, former Castleford Academy player.
Big tackle.
That was Griggs that time. There's been some big hits there.
They're not controlling it though. There's a lot of impact, but not much control after the initial whack.
Last one, McCrone's kick. It was Logan who climbed.
Hand over. Last tackle, hand over.
Yeah, Jack Logan
Hand over there.
It appeared he didn't get his timing on his jump right. As he goes up, he's going down as the ball meets him. And Halifax will breathe a huge sigh of relief there. Need to work it away from their own line. But on the other side of the coin, it's the Wolfpack's turn to try and exert some pressure defensively.
2, move back,
Sean Robinson underneath that tackle. Wallace in there.
Move Blake! All the way, Andy.
Justin Sims as well. Nice run though from dummy half.
We haven't seen enough of that from Brandon Moore. Talked about the replacements. Elliot Morris is on the field now for Halifax. Another one of those short, nuggety players.
Simon Griggs spears that kick forward. O'Brien for Rawsthorne. Chase is good though.
He's coming up for, I think this is his 21st appearance, Nick Rawsthorne, and there's a lot more to come from Nick Rawsthorne. He's bounced about from centre to winger. He's a player that reminds me a lot of Craig Hall, the former captain of the Wolfpack. Got lots of skills, lots of tricks, and as we see him get older and more confident, I'm sure the Wolfpack have got a terrific player there.
Two in a row.
That's it.
Too slow.
Anthony Mullally, too big, and trying to play the ball, draws the whistle of the referee.
I think we've got another example there of where they're getting numbers in the tackle, but they're just not controlling it to the ground, which is why Toronto are getting a quick play and they're giving away unnecessary penalties.
On the foot.
Ed Barber it was on that occasion.
Go.
Let's put Toronto in good field position here. Sidlow.
One. Move.
Typically strong first carry.
Hold. Go one.
Ackers, Wilkin, Mullally again.
Two. Move.
Moore clings on.
Hold. Go two.
Short ball from Ackers for Wilkin. Space perhaps for O'Brien, trying to step round Morel.
Move line. Go.
How long can they withstand this Toronto tide? Mullally, they're in here with Dixon. Second try for Andrew Dixon. Inside 8 minutes, second half, Toronto Wolfpack extend their lead. He scored the decisive try in the qualifiers victory here in September. And now Andrew Dixon gets a double at Halifax to extend his total in the championship to 3.
Well, Toronto taking the ball right to the line. Here we see the back end of it. Dixon, well, a lovely edge runner is Andrew Dixon. Always positions himself in the right place. He likes to go back against the grain, and on that occasion, when he finds the space, bounces back out. But in the build-up to that try, I think again it's all working around John Wilkin, taking it to the line, and then everything outside is all at the last minute, late adjustments. Halifax over on their right were happy enough, but they couldn't do the same on the left. And Brian McDermott, Brian Noble will know that even though Halifax are wobbling a little bit, they're a stubborn side. Plenty of character in this town and in this team, and they won't give up until the final whistle.
Gareth O'Brien looking for his 4th of the afternoon. Kicked 3 in that qualifiers win over Halifax last year on this ground. He's wide of the mark with that one though, but it's a 20-point Toronto lead now. The Wolfpack ahead by 26 points to 6.
Like you see, Mullally there forward again, nice little turn-up play with Dixon hitting a lead line on the edge. I think Toronto just have a lot of players moving in motion, and it's causing a lot of problems for the Halifax defence. The ball is being thrown about all over the show, and I just think Halifax maybe need to take a leaf out of the Toronto book and start really throwing that ball about.
Andrew Dixon's first double since a home loss to Hull Kingston Rovers last August in the qualifiers. Red hot form. That man, Andrew Dixon. Quick play of the ball as well. Ackers on the back of that, Sidlow at the line. McCrone, important tackle from Moore, puts Wallace on the ground. McCrone again, wide from O'Brien.
There you see, Ben, that's a good example of right at the line. That's the reason space presents itself, because defenders are rushing in Halifax shirts.
Toronto ramping up the pace here. Mullally.
Move, goal line.
Can Halifax live with this? It's Blake Wallace who goes in, and Wallace finds the line. Second try for Blake Wallace, adding on to a Dixon double, and Toronto taking control early in this second period. Smiles on the face of Blake Wallace. 6 tries for the season now, and Toronto have really put their foot on the gas.
Well, what about the skills of Toronto? It's lovely to watch. And Blake Wallace, with a lot of bodies outside him, sees the space open up. You can see Shane Grady doesn't know whether to push out to the player. He thinks he's going to receive the ball, and he ends up being a little bit flat-footed, and the half-back Ben Johnson lunges out and can't make that tackle. But it's lovely stuff. Players in Toronto shirts catching the ball, taking a step, passing it on again. All sharp, all quick, all on the money, high skill and high entertainment.
2 tries in 3 minutes in this second half. 2 more points about to follow from Gareth O'Brien. Flags go up. Toronto extend the lead. The Wolfpack now ahead by 32 points to 6.
We talk about the skill and what Wilkin offers in that sense, but here you see, just as the ball was being played, he's organising, he's getting everyone set, and Dixon, with such hard lines that he's been running on that edge, means that when Wallace gets that ball, Halifax defence don't know where to go, and there it opens up clear for Wallace to go through. Great try from Toronto.
Steve Tyra's restart. Collected by Sidlow. Tackle comes in from Kavanagh.
1, move, hold, go on.
Kavanagh and Griggs on for Halifax now, so it looks like the intentions are to make that ball a hot potato when Halifax do get hold of it eventually, but the trick is to get hold of it.
Ackers tried to run there from dummy half, stopped by Barber. Here is Matty Russell. Oh, got a brilliant offload away for O'Brien.
4, move.
Quentin Laulu Tongalai clings on as long as he dare. Ackers, Wilkin, short side play for Olberson. Sharp trying to wrestle Olberson to the ground. Stopped by Morell. Wallace, O'Brien, McCrone, space. Rawsthorne in against his old club, in the corner. More pain for Halifax. Nick Rawsthorne finds the line. In the side, late withdrawal from Chase Stanley. And Nick Rawsthorne doubles his tally for the championship in 2019.
All coming off the back of good quality offloads with players pushing up. There's Russell, finds an offload to Gareth O'Brien. You'd think that QLT has done enough to save the day. But O'Brien, a long pass, but a measured pass to the winger hugging his touchline. Lovely stuff. McCrone, Wallace, Wilkin. I'm being conscious not to make this the John Wilkin show, but I can't remember him playing the ball, and he's been right at the teeth of the defence all afternoon. But he's just smart enough to draw defenders in, create some space, and Nick Rawsthorne, all he has to do is hug the touchline, and eventually that ball will find him. 36 points now, a long way back for Halifax. But for me, they've been outclassed from 20 minutes. And even though they started the first half reasonably okay, it's been all Wolfpack.
Can O'Brien at the extras from the sideline. Off target that time, but Toronto very much on target for top spot. 30-point lead now.
Again, we see Toronto really just playing heads-up rugby, looking up, players in motion, and like I say, absolutely brilliant pass there to find Rawsthorne on the edge. All he had to do was hug his touchline and he went in untouched. Toronto looked really comfortable and they're playing composed rugby. I think Halifax are maybe panicking a little bit at the minute and they just need to get that composure back.
Sidlow.
One, move down, hold, play it.
Kavanagh and Fleming with the tackle. Ackers, Wilkin, Dixon. Brandon Moore in for Halifax. Andy Ackers gets the ball away brilliantly to Wilkin. Mullally, can he get an offload?
He still hasn't played the ball, John Wilkin. Let's see, out of curiosity, if he gets to play it before the end of the 80 minutes.
Wallace for O'Brien. Here is Latelli.
4.
Happy with his treatment there.
Hold.
3 in the tackle.
Go 4.
Wilkin again, this time for Sidlow. Turns it back. Now Logan.
Halifax is standing back and allowing things to unfold, and that's a very dangerous tactic.
Wilkin hoists the high kick this time. Sharp.
20 restart in goal.
Under it. Latelli under it.
I think Sharp has looked the most confident out of Halifax. When he goes up for them balls, he's going up with confidence, and he wants it, and he seems like he's the most dangerous. I think maybe getting the ball in his hands more might be a good tactic for Halifax right now. He looks like he can create something.
Goal 0.
Majority of his work been defensive this afternoon. How much energy is left for Will Sharp and for Halifax?
I can't remember the last time that Halifax had a look at the line. There you go, a welcome penalty for Elliot Morris. Just refuses to go down, spreads his legs mids, makes his base nice and wide.
On the foot, boys, on the foot. Go, good.
Chance then for Halifax, and Morel gets the ball away, and they've coughed up possession on the very first opportunity there, and Wilkin immediately alive, kicks the ball on.
Ryan Briley. He loves to score tries, Ryan Briley. Loves it. And John Wilkin gets that ball.
So the advantage is over. Penalty, offside.
He kicks the ball.
Offside, yes.
And because Ryan Briley is offside, there's no advantage, there's no free play as there was in 2018. Liam Moore brings the teams back. As you can see, Ryan Briley at the point of the kick, he's a metre and a half in front, and the referee, a little bit of help from his touch judges, brings Toronto all the way back. Relief for Halifax there.
Go.
Typically quick thinking though from John Wilkin. Halifax survive.
Move. Back here. Hold.
Saltonstall will play this ball. 2 minutes short of the hour. Big hit there.
Move.
Coming in from Alberson. That was on Fleming. And Morel finds a gap. Shut down by Sidlow in the nick of time. O'Brien in there. Can Halifax get over here? Comes back for Morris. And then the other, Elliot Morris still going. Mullally in attendance now.
Move on today. Line. Go 4.
Fleming. That's Grady. Ball back. It's a knock on, and Toronto do the necessary in defence there.
The idea was right. It was a lovely ball into space, and you can see what he's thinking, Shane Grady. He didn't have the skill to match his ambition. You can see just tracking round the back. Dan Fleming, he's in the general vicinity, and if the back rower, Shane Grady, can get an offload back, it hasn't been a perfect afternoon from Shane Grady and the pack of forwards from Halifax. They've gone out there with a specific game plan of keeping it tight, completing sets. We saw at half-time 82% completion rate from both sides, but the scoreboard was vastly different.
Hold! Go 1.
Rawstorm played that ball. Latelli now.
2. Move all the way. Hold. Go 2.
Fleming and Grix with the tackle. Here is Russell. Look at the meat. I mean, not been allowed to get free on this occasion, but the meters after contact, really impressive there. Ackers on the back of that. Sidlow taken high. Fleming the guilty party, I think.
He's got good feet for a big man, Adam Sidlow. He's found himself during his career as a second rower, given a bit of a roving role in the pack, but on that occasion it's just that little shudder and shuffle of the steps. It just does Dan Fleming. And a wry smile on the face of Adam Sidlow. No damage done, but it'll give Toronto a look at the line of Halifax again.
Can they do more damage on the scoreboard here? Brian McDermott's men.
Back here. Hold.
Inside the last quarter. Ackers, Wilkin. That's Anthony Mullally. Hit came in from Fleming.
Move all the way, Quintin. Go 2.
Scampering run from Ackers. Danger here. Ackers looking for the line.
All his team was set over on his right. He chose to go on his own.
Ed Barber with the defence, but how long can they hold them out? Dixon is over. Hat-trick for Andrew Dixon in Halifax. First Toronto hat-trick for Andrew Dixon. Memorable afternoon for him. 40 points up for Toronto. 41st try of the season for the Wolfpack.
Well, these two teams are playing at two different paces now. I can really start to see Brian McDermott's stamp on this team now. Players running into spaces, offloading the ball, and an offload isn't dangerous unless nobody's expecting it. And when Ryan Briley gets that ball, even though he's under pressure, he has no qualms. He catches it and passes it into the path of a player because he knows that that player is going to be there. And Brian McDermott, the coach of the Toronto Wolfpack, in charge in his 8th game now, had a few disruptions in the off-season. Not the perfect build-up to the season, but you can see from that body language, a very satisfied coach. 40 points in the plus column, and we're just into the last quarter.
43 tries, in fact, for the season now for Toronto Wolfpack. Gareth O'Brien adds the extras. Brian McDermott's men now ahead by 42 points to 6.
Yep, again, we've seen a brilliant hat-trick there from Dixon. Wilkin involved again in spreading that ball to Briley. It means having Wilkin in as that sort of extra halfback when he's playing at 13 means that they can really spread the ball wide, and it gives a lot of chance from the outside second rowers to really get in and hit them inside lines, which they're doing really well with the hat-trick there from Dixon.
One, moves in, hold, goal on.
18 minutes to go. Toronto looking for 50. Good offload there from
Late
Logan.
offload, and that's the reason they have scored 8 tries in a row. As Halifax are getting set, they think they're going back to make the next tackle in the set of 6, but a late offload comes, and they're again shuffling late defensively.
Latelli wrestling with Sharp, and he's outpaced Will Sharp here. Still going, Ricky Latelli. Bumps off 1, bumps off 2. Sharp comes back for a second effort.
Move, Will!
4 people, and still can't get him down, Latelli.
That was O'Brien. Now Wallace. Good shot on him, though.
Move, back up!
Momentarily repels this Toronto momentum. Wilkin. That's Olbison.
5, move, Jacob!
Ed Barber with the tackle.
Go 5.
Latelli. Here is Briley. Crossfield kick from the substitute.
Going.
Well taken, though, by Sean Robinson.
Nobody around him then, Sean Robinson. Relief for Halifax. Not a bad place to hand the ball over. Ryan Briley taking control.
Goal 2.
Tyra played the ball. This is Saltonstall now. It's an offload away. QLT does brilliantly to promote that.
Still 2.
Another offload. Johnston. Will Sharp.
Well, it looks like they've got the message now, Halifax. It looks like Richard Marshall has said, listen, boys, last 15 minutes, let's have a go.
They've got nothing to lose, have they, Halifax? That's what they need to play. Hot rugby, where any offload they can get, any opportunities, they need to take them now, and any sniff they get at the line, they need to go at them.
Morell involved. Comes to Shane Grady. On this left-hand side, kick from Tyra, testing O'Brien.
He still had a tackle in the bank then. Not sure what Steve Tyra saw over in the backfield.
Hold.
Matty Russell played it. Now Latelli.
2, move, Scott. Hold. Goal 2.
Rawsthorne.
3rd. Move.
Coming in and rolling his sleeves up, Nick Rawsthorne.
Goal 3.
Ackers. Wilkin. Mullally.
He still hasn't played the ball, has he?
Move.
That must be his game within a game. He's playing today. Here we go. Nope. Well, he's on the floor anyway.
Wallace was cut down there. Eyes for the tackler. That's where the knock-ons come from. Or is it Olbison who can't take the ball in? Wallace a disservice there.
Sorry, just in front of Tom Alberson. Another good acquisition for the Toronto side. You have to say they're littered with stars, but they've got a really good balance. Quality forwards like Tom Alberson, Andrew Dixon, running hard lines on the edges, on the fringes. The endeavour and industry of John Wilkin. And big Anthony Mullally, well, he's a vegan.
Shot clock off. Out!
Halifax then with Quentin Laulu Tongagai.
Surrender! Stand! Goal one.
Mullally in defence this time alongside Lussick. Ben Kay. Support from Morel. Jacob Fairbank, I beg your pardon.
Nice dancing feet from Elliot Morris. They look, again, they're offloading the ball. He calls Darcy Lussick offside, the referee, stops him from getting involved. And what do? They hunt him, they find him, and they force the referee to blow the whistle.
Johnston. Scampering run from him.
That's his sharpest tool, Ben Johnson. Run, take defenders on.
Ben Kay.
Still two.
Offload. Something perhaps on the right-hand side here for Ed Barber.
Third. Move Blake. Line. Go third.
Morel. Come back and was looking for Quentin Laulu Tongagai. John Wilkin comes up with the intercept.
He just flies an arm out, John Wilkin there.
Both sides, all the way with me.
Reads the play from Scott Morel. I would love to see John Wilkin run the full length of this field. He would have had to have been tackled then, because he wouldn't have got to the try line.
Let's lock in, boys. Arms over.
You're backing against him, eh?
Shot clock off. Out! Fuck it.
As it is, Halifax with a good opportunity here, just 10 metres away from that Toronto line. Nowhere for Will Sharp to go, though. It is Wilkin and Dixon who combine to bring the former Harlequin to ground.
Goal line! Goal one.
Kay.
Well, that was a shame. He just bobbled that ball, didn't he? Had stuff going on outside him, Jacob Fairbank.
Goal two.
And Kay again. Pass does find Laulu Tongagai, but they've lost some momentum here as Tyra tries to restore it. He gets an offload away for Kay. Now it's Johnston.
Third. Move Andrew.
Dixon and Mullally in defence.
Goal three.
Kavanagh.
Four. Move Andy. Line.
Running out of tackles here, Halifax.
Long ball from Kay this time. Finds Morel. Maybe something here. Ed Barber looking for the line.
Wallace all rounding, clamps onto him.
Goal five.
Booming pass. Finds Johnston. And then the kick for Laulu Tongagai just evades him.
Offside.
Grady it is who puts the ball down.
He was just half a metre offside, QLT. He wanted that kick. He pointed to the place he wanted it put into. You can see he's expecting the kick from Johnson. I said half a metre. I don't know whether it's half an inch.
Time off.
He is marginally in front, and as he gets there, it looks like the tackle gets made from Jack Logan. He finds an offload. Shane Grady, Halifax, they come away with nought.
Despite that, I think Halifax will be quite happy with that set. They really tested Toronto's line, and I think the message must come on that, you know, Richard Marshall really wants them to start playing hot and getting some offloads away, and it's working for them at the minute.
Yeah, wait. Go.
Quentin Laulu Tongagai, 20 tries in 22 Toronto appearances last year.
Hold. Goal one.
And his last season, I should say, with the Wolfpack back in 2017. Here is Godwin Springer.
And a brief stint at Castleford Tigers after that.
Oh, no, contributing. Goal two, Godwin's contributing.
Springer also with the Tigers. O'Brien, Jack Logan.
Tackle's complete, and then you pass the ball, it's a penalty.
The tackle was complete, says Liam Moore.
Mate, tackle's complete.
Logan tried to get that pass away.
No, mate, no, it's different. It's a different rule, mate. The ball carried down into the ground.
Knocks the knees together, Ben Johnson, and the referee has no option to blow the whistle. 42 points in the against column for Halifax, and Richard Marshall, perfectionist that he is, young British coach, be a little bit concerned. It's the third time that they've conceded over 40 points, 38 against York. And he had a legitimate case there, didn't he, Jack Logan? He said that the ball hadn't touched the floor.
Really nice short ball. And now Morel with some space. Offload from Fairbank. Now it's Grady and Tyra. He gets the ball away as well, and Robinson is tackled by Logan.
Goal 2.
Johnston. Morris.
Third. Move back. Go third.
Kate. That was Fairbank. The offload came in from Barber. And Latelli, though, has picked it up. He's picked their pockets here, Ricky Latelli. Has he got the pace?
Ben Johnson.
He's got support from Russell. Russell against Johnston. And Russell is in. Second try for Matty Russell, created by Ricky Latelli. A 90-metre effort for Toronto Wolfpack as they close in on the half-century here in Halifax. The Canadian flag's flying now.
Well, what a signing Ricky Latelli has been for Toronto this year. As soon as he has that ball in his hands, his only real objective is to get to the try line, but credit the cover. Talked about his pace, didn't we, Ben Johnson? He did everything he could. Ricky Latelli ultimately had to find a support player in Matty Russell. Matty Russell not resting on his laurels over on the other side. He knows if they're over on the same side, if there is any scraps, he's got to stay with his centre, and even if he runs out of gas, he'll be there to pick up the scraps. Sean Johnson just not quick enough either, but great reply and a quality score.
Gareth O'Brien looking for 2 more points to put Toronto just 2 away from 50. 48 points to 6 now, following that try from Matty Russell.
Ricky Latelli has shown his dominance, I think, all throughout the game. Really strong going forward, and that intercept was brilliant there. A let-off, really. Halifax was putting some real pressure on Toronto line. It was good to see, but unfortunately it was read there by Latelli well, and really brilliant try. Russell supporting like any good winger should, and again we see Toronto go another 6 points.
All smiles for the Toronto coaching team. Brian McDermott, Brian Noble.
1. Move. Back up.
Logan into Grady's tackle. Rawsthorne. Grady involved again.
Help! Release. Go 2.
Ackers.
Third. Move.
He's been good, Andy Ackers. His service from acting half has been top class, and when he's had chance and had opportunity, he's had a little look.
Back. Hold. Go 4.
Former Warrington Academy man Andy Ackers up against former Warrington Academy coach Richard Marshall. So O'Brien's kick. His opposite number, Quentin Laulu-Tonga, guy underneath that.
A very experienced fullback is QLT, had the presence of Adam Sidlow breathing down his neck, and you can just see now nowhere for Halifax to go. Text that catch. There might have been a call for being tackled in the air, but Gadwin Springer coming to the aid of Halifax and giving them 30 metres upfield. There you see Saltonstall. Springer makes the tackle.
It's a real let-off penalty, that, as well. That's exactly where you want the ball to go up and the opposition to take it. They're really pinned in that corner and have got a lot of effort to try and get out of there, so that penalty is a real let-off for Halifax.
Nice flick from Morris. Fairbank now. That's Morel. Barber.
High tackle. As we say, Ed Barber, big man over on that right edge for Halifax. When he gets the ball,
Contact with the head.
he likes an offload, likes to pull it up over the top and find that offload.
1.
2 penalties given away now from
Hold it.
Halifax.
Hold, Tom.
Dancing feet,
Go on,
but Latelli
come on!
right around the earlobes.
Morel with a pass. They could be in here. Halifax do have a try. Ed Barber, the man, on the mark. They've been kept tryless for 75 minutes here by Toronto. Would have been the first time they'd kept an opposition team tryless. The first time since York in round 1, but Halifax have got over the line.
Well, good work from the substitute forward. Ed Barber knows the way to the try line, got over for 3 last week. Nice double pump. The last home match, sorry, got over for 3. Double pump from Morel. Draws in the defender. John Wilkin just can't complete his task. And it's not going to win him the game, but it troubles the scoreboard and might give them just a little bit going into that changing room after the game. Nobody expected them to win. Massive underdogs against the full-timers and the glitz and glamour of the Toronto Wolfpack. But it was just about doing themselves justice and doing themselves credit today.
Can Steve Tyra continue this 100% record with the boot? 3 penalties in that first half. That's the conversion in the second.
Time's off.
Toronto well in control, 48 points to 12.
Barber's been a real handful since he's come on. I've been really impressed with him. I think he's been stood up quite a lot. He wins the initial penalty to get him the field position, and then brilliant line off the back of Morel pass there to finish off a try. He clearly knows his way to the try line, as he's proved, like you say, in the last home game. So it's a consolation try, but at the same time it shows some promise for Halifax's season going forward.
No penalties.
A positive for Richard Marshall late on. Oh, it's going to be a tough test against the full-time Toronto outfit.
1.
Restart brilliantly collected by Tyra.
Hold. Go 1.
Johnston. Godwin Springer.
2. Move
with the tackle alongside Lussick.
And it is important for Toronto not to capitulate, even though the scoreboard has a hefty figure at the side of Toronto's name. They don't want to concede 2 or 3 late tries. Brian McDermott talks about Richard Marshall being a perfectionist. Well, Brian McDermott, he's a perfectionist as well.
Hold. Go 4.
Here is Will Sharp. Morel. Looking for back-to-back tries here. Halifax as Grady is tackled.
Move back. Hold.
Goes Briley. Last chance. Morel goes high.
10 metres.
O'Brien underneath that though.
1.
A high kick, but it was perhaps a little bit too deep for the chasers in the Halifax shirts. As we're into the last couple of minutes of this match.
Go 2. Not square. He's okay. He's okay.
He's caused problems every time he's touched the ball, as he does every week, Matty Russell.
Hold. Go 3rd.
Here is Godwin Springer. Holds on, and then nice offload for Ackers. This is Lussick. He dumps the ball back in turn for Ackers again.
4. Move. Back here. Hold. Go 4.
O'Brien. That's Briley. Dixon.
5. Move back. Go 5.
Grady with the tackle. Last one. Ball just goes over that sideline from Gareth O'Brien. They know the job is done.
A bit of a raise of the eyebrows there from Gareth O'Brien. He knows it's perhaps not the most positive play, should we say, just nudging it over the sideline.
10-minute touches, boys.
Watching the clock tick over, a job well done for the coaching staff of the Wolfpack.
Heads in.
Brian McDermott, I thought he was going to show us his limboing skills there.
Out. 1.
Have his team got
Move Adam.
one more try left in them.
Andrew, hold. Go 1.
9 so far.
2.
defence for now.
Goal, Darcy. Goal 2.
Can Halifax finish with a flourish? Ben Kavanagh.
Stand free. Go.
Ben Kay.
Okay.
That was Morel, nice pass. That's Saltonstall. He gets an offload away as well.
4.
He is strong, Elliot Morris. Works hard to get on the end of that as well.
Now Lutonga guy with the pass, Tyra. Support from Robinson.
5. Move.
And that is the last action of this game. Toronto have won it comfortably in the end. They were caused problems in that opening 20, 3 penalties from Steve Tyra, but that seems an awful long time ago now. Brian McDermott's men hit back with 9 tries of their own, 4 before the break, courtesy of Wilkin, Dixon, Wallace and Russell. Smiles from Ryan Briley. He added 5 more in the second, a couple from Dixon, second from Russell, Wallace and Rawsthorne as well against his old club. Job done for Brian McDermott. Toronto Wolfpack back on top of the Betfred Championship. Halifax fans smiling despite the defeat. They know the magnitude of the task facing them this afternoon.
And a real golfing clash. You could see that Toronto prepared in that first quarter to go toe-to-toe with Halifax, absorb what they had to offer, and then it was through the play of players like John Wilkin and the half-backs on short for Toronto, Wallish, McCrone, and then Gareth O'Brien, smart players, but the skills, the passes, just a different class.
We can get some reaction from pitch side now, and the hat-trick hero Andrew Dixon is downstairs with Billy Painter.
Andrew, congratulations on the win. Your first ever hat-trick for the Toronto Wolfpack in a dominant display for the Decide as well. You must be delighted with that.
Yeah, it took a while, you know. It's only took 2.5 years to get an hat-trick. But I think it's my first one in my career. But just, you know, a good game versus Halifax. You know, they're a really good side, and you know, a tough test this week. So yeah, hopefully next week we carry on.
And it was on a much drier pitch today, much drier service, much finer conditions than in previous weeks, and that really showed on the pitch with the performance.
Yeah, definitely. You know, both sides chucked it about, and you know, it's credit to Halifax and ourselves. You know, I think it was a decent game of rugby for the fans to watch.
It took 20 minutes to get going. Halifax went into a 6-0 lead, but after that, it seemed pretty much one-way traffic.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we managed to complete our sets and get some good shapes on. You know, the coaches are brought in, and you know, we just had to perform well.
Andrew, congratulations on the win. We'll bring in Blake Wallace.
A few interviews here, boys.
Blake, congratulations on the win, and you bagged a brace in, as well in the game.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was, I think it was off the back of me forwards, you know, laying a pretty good platform, and you know, playing off the back of that made my job a bit easier.
And to come to a ground where Halifax haven't lost a championship game in over a year, you were the last side to do that as well. Must be pretty pleasing.
Yeah, definitely. You know, they're always tough here. You know, the crowd gets right behind them, and they're a big physical set. So, you know, it was good to come here and get the job done, and you know, put up a pretty good performance.
Is this the strongest performance you've put out as a side so far in 2019?
Yeah, definitely. I think you know, we've sort of been building for a few weeks, and you know, the way Mac wants us to play, and I think today we executed that, and it showed on the scoreboard.
And you cut that Halifax defence up on a few occasions yourself, of course, getting over for those 2 touchdowns. Just what was it that clicked so well for the side today?
I think we just everyone buying into, you know, what we needed to do as a team, and individually the roles that we had to play, and you know, I think it all flowed pretty well off the back of that.
Again, Halifax, a part-time team in this division, yourselves full-time training week in, week out. Does that tend to show in these games, do you feel?
Yeah, you know, like we're not going to work on Monday morning, you know, we're going to training, and you know, we're getting the recovery we need and stuff like that. So, you know, these boys are going and working all week, and then they come out and, you know, put in a good performance on the weekend. So, you know, it's hard for them, and you know, I understand that, but you know, we're just happy that we're doing the right thing.
Like, well done on the win. Nick Rawsthorne joins us now. Nick, you played on your hometown turf today in Halifax, and you got over for your first touchdown this season. You must be pleased with that performance.
Yeah, I think you know, pulled together really well as a team today. You know, we're just happy that we could throw the ball around and really show people what we can do.
And for yourself, a late call up into that side with Shea Stanley's injury as well. Just when did you find out you'd be bracing the turf today?
In warm-up. So yeah, you know, Chase has been struggling a little bit all week, so just kind of testing out, see how it was, but obviously didn't fall through. So yeah, it's good to get out and get some minutes.
And coming back on this pitch where you spent quite a lot of time as a player, you know, you developed here as a player as well. It must be pleasing to come back and put that performance in at your hometown.
Yeah, I mean, I'll always be grateful for Halifax, you know, giving me an opportunity to get back into rugby, coming through the reserve. So yeah, just really happy to come back, and I'll always be a Halifax fan as well, so yeah, it's nice.
Are we now starting to see things click for the Wolfpack? That was a very dominant display, certainly in that second half. It was very much one-way traffic at times.
Yeah, we've been working on a lot of things at training, and you know, kind of working on how quick we want to ruck and working off that. So I think we've like I say, the conditions out because it's quite dry, so yeah, we've just got to show people what we can do for doing that.
Nick, again, thanks for your time. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Halifax coach Richard Marshall joins us. Richard, for 20 minutes there, you know, you were on top of Toronto, but after that, you know, it's very one-sided.
Yeah, just the physicality of the game today, I thought, got us for the 80 minutes. Yeah, I did think we started pretty good, and we knocked over a few penalties and put the pressure back on Toronto, but they're a quick team. They got us on play 1 and 2, and the back-to-back tries are not acceptable and pretty poor by our standards.
And 40 points conceded as well from Halifax today, and a defence that previously has served the side so well. Just what's changed there so far this season?
Well, it's the opposition today. They're just too quick and too powerful. We're a part-time team. We work our hardest, and I was pleased that they didn't give up. They carried on going. But we need to address some of that, some of the defensive issues. But at the same time, I was really pleased with the efforts throughout the 80 minutes, and getting a score at the end was testament to Ed and the team.
Well, that's right there. You got the last points of the game through Ed Barber in that late try. That must give you plenty to work on as a coach going forward for the upcoming fixtures.
Well, it's like anything. You've got to take the positives, and the positives were that we were still fighting. Our smarts aren't quite there at the moment. But we'll dust ourselves down. We'll have a good week this week. We've got the Challenge Cup to look forward to. And yeah, but we need to start improving our performances, that's for sure.
Richard, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
John Wilkin joins us from Toronto Wolfpack. John, congratulations on the win. That was a very dominant display today.
It was good, yeah. Are you going to interview any more of us? There's a queue of 6. Yeah, no, it was good. Look, we started well. I thought we competed really hard. Halifax were good in that opening 20 minutes, but weirdly, we took a lot of confidence from them going for goal, kicking the ball into touch and slowing the game down, and we had a little chat and we said, look, this is a good thing, you know, we're pleased because it probably showed that they respected what we could do when we had the ball, and when we got it we were delighted. And we spoke a lot through the week. We've got a bit of time off after this game, and we spoke about that feeling of where you've done your job, you've played well, 80 minutes of graft, and then we can go have a few beers, enjoy our week with our families, and that's been a big motivation for me personally over the course of the week. But delighted to get the win. I suppose, you know, we just got to keep improving, and I think we have done that today.
John, congratulations on the win, and thanks for your time and waiting in the queue of interviewees as well.
John Wilkin, all smiles, as well he might be. 48 points to 12, a hat-trick, the headline for Andrew Dixon, doubles for Wallace and Russell as well, and Wilkin and former Halifax man Rawsthorne, the other scorers. And we can look at the second half analysis now with Barry and Jody.
Well, we went into the half-time changing rooms. Halifax 6, Toronto 22, and they'd competed in that first half at Halifax, but as we see, passes from players going at the line, running into space. Andrew Dixon getting over for his try.
Yep, and then we see another brilliant set of play. This turn up there from seeing Dixon there going over. This is where we see Wilkin involvement again, out to Wallace, and it just opens up for him to go over for a try again in the middle. Wilkin involvement all day long. I'm not sure whether he did actually get tackled all game or not. We'll have to see that one.
And then it was the turn of the local boy. Nick Rawsthorne spoke very well after the match about being brought into the side late on. There's Blake Wallace's try. But look at the shape, look at the width in passes. Gareth O'Brien, it goes round the back of Dixon for a change, and it finds the local boy over on the edge. Look at the players offering themselves. There's a certain amount of script, and there's a certain amount of this being a rehearsed play, but there's a large element of it being reactionary, putting yourself in the right place, putting yourself in the frame and getting the advantage if you're there.
Yeah, then at 61 minutes we see Dixon going over again for his hat-trick. Played absolutely brilliantly today. He was all over the show. I think every single time he was getting his nose through, or if not, breaking the line completely. Wilkins' involvement, again, acting as that first receiver so that he can get wide and hit Dixon on that edge. Absolutely brilliant play from him.
And it was a procession for the Toronto side. They seem to be scoring at will, and whenever Halifax did have a go at the line, the Toronto side looked first to the punch. There we see QLT tries to find an offload, and Latella pins his ears back, thinks he has enough pace, but credit the scrum half who worked hard all day, Ben Johnson. He forced the hand of the centre. He had to find his winger, who again, credit to Matty Russell. Sometimes it's about the work you do when you've got the ball in hand, and sometimes it's about what you do when you're not carrying the ball to make yourself an option.
Yeah, now we see the consolation try really for Halifax. Barber was dangerous as soon as he came on the pitch, and showed there his strength, getting out, getting that try. Morel, I think, was involved in everything that Halifax did well, and his kicking game I thought was brilliant today. The scoreline doesn't quite reflect it, but I think his kicks were good and he controlled the game really well.
Blake Wallace called that the strongest performance of 2019 in that post-match interview, and it puts Toronto Wolfpack back on top of the pile in the Betfred Championship following Toulouse result yesterday. 14 points for Brian McDermott's men. Halifax dropped to 8th position. So the job done for Brian McDermott at their 7th win of the season. Halifax just stay with 4 victories. And it's another tough assignment for Toronto next up in the Betfred Championship. Next appointment, they play the Sheffield Eagles Saturday, April the 6th. You'll see that one live with us as they go to extend their lead at the top of the Betfred Championship. Toronto, Sheffield. From all of us, Barry, Jody and all the team, it's goodbye.
Sky Sports Arena. Feel it all.
It gets passed out wide to the right. They're still going. Takes it cleanly. He's passed it back inside. I think he's got it. And he's over for the try.
Breyer's 340-calorie ice cream. You'll need new ways to be naughty.
You've been a Sky customer for 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hear you're a football fan and love a good sci-fi. So we've got Premier League tickets for you and a chance to be an extra on a show.
Seriously?
Seriously. I better go.
Who's that, Daddy?
It's Amelia Fox.
We're on a mission to thank you for the time you've been with us. For your thank you, download the My Sky app.
Say hello to Otto Sergey.
Hello, I'm here to simplify your life.
Otto Sergey is just like real Sergey, but without the fleas. So relax while he do all the stuff you don't want to. Let's start with energy. If he thinks you're paying too much,
I just found you a better energy deal. Would you like to switch?
Sure.
High five.
See how Otto Sergey could make switching the energy easier. Compare the market. Keep life simple.
Run your home like a pro with Currys PC World.
Save up to £70 on these large 9-kilo Hoover washers and dryers. These washers are just $249 with free delivery. Save $30 off Hoover built-in appliances over £300. This 8-kilo washer is $319 after code. Save up to £300 on these stunning Samsung QLED TVs with lifelike colours and stylish design that blends in with your home. From just $799, our lowest ever price at Currys PC World.
No, we haven't talked about it openly.
Prefer to keep it private.
This is a touchy subject.
Well,
We have had a few issues.
it isn't easy talking to your family about money, but it is important. The M word from Lloyd's Bank. It's good to talk about money.
Say my name so my powers may flow through you.
That's crazy, right?
When you leave tall buildings in a single bound.
Sorry, people, Shazam.
The next sale just got sparkly. All next sale items half price or even less. The next sale, now on.
And tonight will be the fourth meeting of the season between Boston and Charlotte. The Celtics blew out the Hornets twice at TD Garden in Boston, but Charlotte rode Kemba Walker's 43-point eruption to victory back in November at Spectrum Center. And we take a look here at some more advanced stats for tonight's game, approaching the opening tip. And we see catch and shoot points right there. Boston doing a nice job at converting those shots off those quick passes, a lot better than Charlotte has here this season. And how about assist points created? A very large margin separating these two teams. Boston doing a much better job than the Hornets, but both teams doing pretty well overall, and that's predicated off the production from the likes of Kemba Walker and Kyrie Irving. And we see the hustle stats. Loose balls recovered, pretty even, and pretty much even throughout. Aside from the deflections that we see with the tight that is epitomizes the tough defense. The net rating, Celtics are pretty good right now. We're positive. The Hornets, though, in the red as far as net rating goes. Taking a look at the starting lineups here on NBA Saturdays for the Celtics, who have dropped 2 in a row. And remember, they can slide back into the 4th spot in the East with a win tonight. Kyrie Irving, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Marcus Morris, and Robert Williams, a rookie out of Texas A&M, filling in for the injured Al Horford. Lineup under head coach Brad Stevens for the Celtics. And Boston without Al Horford, Gordon Hayward, and Aaron Baines. Meanwhile, for the Hornets, desperate for wins down the stretch here, trying for their second in a row under head coach James Borrego, the rookie Miles Bridges, along with Marvin Williams, Bismack Biyombo, Dwayne Bacon, the second-year guard, and Kemba Walker, the franchise's all-time leading scorer. 22 games of 30 or more points this season for Kemba Walker. Hornets are 2.5 games behind Miami for the final playoff spot.